Hi everyone, Spider-Man991 here on DarkAvengerINCPlus, where today I'm reviewing not only Superior Spider-Man number 15, but also issue 16 as well. Mainly because these are pretty much both parts in a two-part story arc featuring the Hobgoblin, so I figured since this arc was only two parts, I could just review both issues in one video. Okay, pretty much issue 15 starts off with Ben Urch. He's meeting. He's pretty much just survived the whole raid on Shadowland from issue 14, and he's gone to the Tinkerer's shop, and he's pretty much brought his equipment in to get fixed up and stuff, and the Tinkerer says he'll do it, and right before that, and right after the Hobgoblin leaves, Tinkerer talks to Tiberius Stone, who's been in hiding since his fallout with the Kingpin, which took place back in Amazing Spider-Man 697 when the original Hobgoblin Roderick Kingsley returned. Yeah, so after that, pretty much Tinker gives Tiberius the assignment to work on the Hobgoblin's equipment, and Stone takes this opportunity to decide to get his revenge on the Hobgoblin for getting him kicked out of the Kingpin's organization. Meanwhile, Carly Coop, during the whole, NYPD and Spider-Man and his Spider Minions are like searching through the wreckage of Shadowland, Carly Cooper takes a moment to ask Spider-Man, like, how is he able to, oh, by the way, and of course Carly knows he's Peter Parker. She asks him, like, how are you able to afford all this? And Spider-Man says, I have support from the city, and of course Carly finds this a little suspicious. She talks to Captain Watanabe about this, and she agrees that they should probably try to follow the money and figure out what's going on, and Captain Watanabe agrees to do this as the Wraith. Meanwhile, after Phil Urch gets all his equipment and he turns in his latest Hobgoblin video to the Bugle, he's kind of running low on funds, and because of this, he actually made a deal with the original Hobgoblin, Roderick Kingsley, to give him some of his money, so that his income, so that he can keep using the Hobgoblin identity. And when Kingsley calls him, Ben's like, I haven't got the money yet and stuff, and Kingsley's just like, okay, you know what, I've got tons of people wanting to pay for the Hobgoblin. Name, get me my money, just rob a bank, you're a supervillain, just rob a bank or something. And of course, Phil decides to go rob several banks as the Hobgoblin to get the money to Kingsley. And of course, Spider-Man still can't detect the Hobgoblin through his spider bots or anything because of the way the Green Goblin, or the Goblin King now, modified the spider bots a couple of issues ago, where they pretty much don't detect anyone with a Goblin symbol or a Goblin mask on. So pretty much, with that in effect, Spider-Man can't find out where Phil Urch is. So he calls in everyone. So he pretty much has like his Spider Minions patrolling nonstop. He doesn't stop being Spider-Man, and a lot of people in his personal life are starting to notice Mary Jane, Aunt May, Max Modell. And then eventually, the only thing he does have time for, Peter Parker-wise, is just going to the university and learning that because of his high test scores, he's getting a full credit for his class, and all he has to do now is just present his thesis to get his doctorate. That's it. So, and then also during this time, the Goblin King decides to fix the protocol that he put in the spider bot, so that now Hobgoblin will get detected. And so right after Peter Parker is done giving his thesis, he's called in to, he gets an alert on his phone that the Hobgoblin's been sighted. He goes after him, and and he starts fighting the Hobgoblin, but suddenly the Hobgoblin's flame sword is deactivated, and it's revealed from a distance that it's Tiberius Stone kind of controlling the equipment and causing it to malfunction. So the Hobgoblin's scared, he runs, he ditches his costume, but fortunately Spider-Man was smart. He tagged him with the nano tracers that are in the claws of his gloves, and he's able to detect Phil Urch in the Daily Bugle. And so, and of course Phil Urch is frantic. He tells Robbie that he needs advance for his next Hobgoblin video, and he needs it soon. But unfortunately, though, right at this time, Spider-Man is able to eavesdrop and hear the whole thing, and he goes on the airwaves on in New York City to tell everyone that Phil Urch is basically tell that Phil Urch is the Hobgoblin. Everyone hears this. Everyone in the Daily Bugle hears this, and that's where issue 15 ends. Sorry, which takes us to issue 16. Pretty much at the Bugle, Ben Urch, Phil's uncle, and Robbie Robertson are trying to calm everyone down. Pretty much tell them, like, don't say anything about this, don't tweet about it, don't status update about this or you're canned. And of course Nora, and of course Robbie and Ben are kind of lenient towards believing Phil that he's not the Hobgoblin. And Nora, however, though she's a reporter, she's skeptical. She tries to get Phil to admit that he's not the Hobgoblin, but it's not working. And then Spider-Man finds it. And so eventually, though, Spider-Man finds out that just doesn't wait anymore, and goes in, gets Phil, and he goes in, gets to Phil Urch, but right when Spider-Man goes in, Phil just loses it. He grabs Nora, takes out his flame sword, and is going to use her as a hostage, but she fights back. Then Spider-Man fights back as well. He apparently, and this is interesting, but apparently Spider-Man can also detonate the nanotracers. Like, they don't kill Phil, but and they don't kill Phil, but they just like stun him for a bit, and that allows Spider-Man enough time to grab him and throw him and rush him through a window. And right when they get outside, they're surrounded by cops and the Spider Patrol. And right at that moment, Spider-Man pretty much tells him, your identity's blown, you're surrounded, do the smart thing. And Phil surrenders. And just when Spider-Man is about to, I believe he was either going to rip out Phil's vocal cords to stop the sonic scream or kill him, he gets a call from Captain America saying that, yeah, we heard about what you're doing, you need to be careful because you're still on probation. And says, we need to talk about this. And Spider-Man's like, yes, we do. And so Spider-Man just gives Phil over to the authorities, and they start taking him to prison. But then at the end of two things happen at the end of the issue. First of all, at the Daily Bugle, Robbie, because of the thing with Phil, he's forced to put Ben Urch on the sidelines. He just tells Ben that, unfortunately, because of what happened to Phil, can't use you for a while, and he has to fire Nora Winters because all of her Hobgoblin stories came from Phil's evidence. So she's no longer working for the Bugle. And also, Captain Watanabe and Carl as Wraith is able to capture interrogate one of the Spider Patrolmen that Spider-Man has hired, and she's able to get some more information out of him. He's saying this is legit. I'm not really a criminal and stuff, and and she's also communicating to Carly Cooper, who's also cross-referencing the information on her computer, and they're able to track down where most of the Spider-Man's Spider Patrol funds are coming from, an account, and I believe Carly said it was in the Cayman Islands. So they're obviously on the trail to figure out that this isn't Peter Parker. Okay, and also at the end of it, but back to issue 16, at the very end though, when Phil is being transported to prison, the convoy gets attacked, and Phil is broken out by Menace, who's revealed to be working for the Goblin King, and she takes him to the Goblin Underground area and says that, you're here to see the real Goblin, the Goblin King. And Phil's like, wait, you mean Norman Osborn? And she says, wait here. Of course, so again, we're still getting teased the idea that this could be Norman Osborn or not. We don't know. And pretty much when Phil gets there, he's given a new set of armor and a new identity. From now on, he's known as the Goblin Knight. And that's where the issue ends. Okay, so yeah, the issues 15 and 16, known as the Run Goblin Run story arc. Pretty awesome. I'd say if you're a Hobgoblin fan, and particularly if you're a fan of Phil Urch's Hobgoblin, you'll love this story arc. It's fun. It is hilarious how, at the start of that was one of the very first things that Dan Slott did on his run on Amazing Spider-Man was make Phil Urch the new Hobgoblin. Well, now he's taken all that away, and this is obviously being used in this whole big goblin thing, this big goblin event that I think is going to come up soon. I cannot wait to see what Dan Slott is doing with the Goblin King. Again, we're getting the whole Return of the Green Goblin teased a little bit. Like, I mean, yeah, we know he's back, the Green Goblin's back, but I mean like a full, like not just a background, like right now the Green Goblin's just a background character. Now I want to see him like full. I can't wait for the arc where he's actually a major character, a key character in it, and you know, I cannot wait for that arc well enough, because the Green Goblin is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. But yeah, if you love the Green Goblin or the Hobgoblin or just like any Goblin foe of Spider-Man, I would say definitely check this arc out. I mean, it's only 2 issues, so it's affordable. But I do say that you will need issue 14 just to understand like what exactly happened right before this. I'd say maybe if you want to get it or not, but yeah, I'd say right now this was a pretty great story arc. I highly recommend people give it a shot. I do recommend. I guess if you haven't been reading Superior Spider-Man, you should start with issue 14 because that was jump on friendly, and then this will definitely take you right into the series. Yeah, overall, Run Goblin Run was an amazing story arc. Dan Slott clearly hit the mark again with this. Really liked how this was a character that Dan kind of helped reinvent at the start of his run on Amazing Spider-Man, and he reinvented Phil Urch again at the end by making him the Goblin Knight. Very impressive, well done. I still cannot wait for this Green Goblin story arc. I want to read it so bad. How long do we have to wait? It's killing me. Yeah, I seriously cannot wait for that Green Goblin, for what's going to happen next. Next issue, though, is going to be the Return of Spider-Man 2099. That was something that was teased big, I believe, last month at Comic-Con, so can't wait for that, too. Yeah, overall, issues 15 and 16 are definitely a buy. Okay, before I end this video, I just want to say that this is kind of a big news just for me in particular, not so much for the channel, but this will be my last video on Dark Avenger INCPlus for a while. I've got some other things I need to focus on, and unfortunately this is going to take a lot of time away from me making videos and stuff. And in fact, even on my main channel, I'm probably going to have to, I think after August I'm going to stop the weekly reviews and just like do like a best of the month type of video. That's all I'm going to be able, I think that's all I'm going to be able to do for a while. So yeah, unfortunately this will be my last video for Dark Avenger INCPlus for now, I think, but I don't know when I'm going to be back, so who knows. Thank you for watching my videos on this channel. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I know there are many other good reviewers better than me on this channel, so you know, I hope I hope they do. They're doing okay. I hope everyone loves them. Yeah, so thanks again everyone for letting me be a part of this channel team thing. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.